Let's go! Hello and welcome to another edition of the PHNX D-backs podcast right here on PHNX. We are here to actually celebrate a win on the same day as a post-series game, or show, I should say. Can you believe it? I don't even know words anymore or what to do with these hands. I'm excited. Of course, I'm your mayor, PHNX, occasionally known as Derek Montilla. This guy over here in the other window, he's Jesse Friedman, occasionally known as the vice mayor, also known as the Thunderstick. Jesse, how you feeling celebrating a win on the show for once? Let's go. Cheers, buddy.
It's about time, right? It has been since June 19th, I believe, that we have done a post-series show after a game the Diamondbacks won and a series the Diamondbacks won. It has been a month and a half since the stars have aligned to create a situation like this one. So a big win for the D-backs today, though. A come-from-behind win. Every game, somehow, the team that won all three games in this series, they were all come-from-behind wins. The Diamondbacks had a big come-from-behind win on Friday night as well, and the Rockies came from behind to win the game yesterday. So a lot of back and forth between these two teams. It was a lot of fun to watch, and fortunately for all of us, the Diamondbacks come out on the good side today.
Michael Rokicki in the comment says, can we talk about how 1 through 9 Friday and Saturday were the same? When has Torey ever done that? Never. I don't know. Never. Brett Johnson says month and a half, bruh. It gets worse than that, bruh. The Diamondbacks, as Sean DePaz tweeted out, they won for just the 6th time on a Sunday in this season. That's why we don't ever get to celebrate. Are you kidding me? I'm gonna chug so many of these on this show, Jesse. It's gonna be incredible. We don't get many of these victorious Sundays, and it was a fun one, right? I mean, the one thing you can say about this series is the Diamondbacks got quality starting pitching all series long. Zach Davies today was shaky at best at times, but still the numbers look very good for him. Merrill Kelly looked outstanding last night on Saturday. You were there for that one. I was there for that one. What were your thoughts on Merrill Kelly and how good he looked through at least 6 innings before things started to happen?
Yeah. I mean, I just think it's wild that Merrill Kelly clearly had the best outing of any Diamondback starter in this series, and yet that was the game the Diamondbacks lost, right?
Yeah,
that's just sort of the way things go sometimes. But yeah, Merrill was he was outstanding in that game yesterday, and I know he wound up giving up the 2 runs late in the outing. He wasn't able to get an out in the 8th inning, wound up stopping after 7+. But I mean, still, you'll take 7 innings, 2 runs every day that ends in Y. And Merrill Kelly has been, I mean, he was just named the National League Pitcher of the Month in July, and that was a pretty darn good start to the month of August for a guy like him who just continues to surge, Derek. I mean, he has a 2.86 ERA, and we are like more than 2/3 the way through the season. So it is remarkable what Merrill has managed to do this season, even though, unfortunately, that game ended in a loss yesterday.
We still have issues with the bullpen. The Diamondbacks shifted gears there a bit in game 1 and game 2, going to Ian Kennedy late in the game, which was something we were surprised by. It worked out in game 1. Didn't work out so well in game 2. I was very close, actually, to that home run. I was sitting with our friend Sean, as well as with our producer Emma, and that scoundrel Totri from the ASU podcast. And that home run, I don't know how it looked on TV, but to us, it barely cleared the wall for that deciding home run in that game. And, you know, it's just unfortunate because as much as you want to blame the Diamondbacks' woes, at least when it comes to the bullpen, solely on Mark Melancon, it doesn't. It just seems like they're just kind of they're having a run of bad luck. No matter who they put out there, they can't really rely on anybody. It seems like Joe Mantiply, even with the start of the season, hasn't been the most consistent reliever for them lately. So it's I think it's just difficult because it feels like no matter who they put in, there's a good chance that they're going to blow it.
Yeah, I mean, it's honestly crazy how this series ended, right? I mean, the guy who saves the finale, right? The guy who got the save today, Derek, was none other than Mark Melancon himself. And it was a little, it wasn't quite as clean of an inning as you might have been looking for. But nonetheless, it was good to see Melancon succeed in that spot. I don't think the D-backs had any other choice in this game. Joe Mantiply, they had already used earlier in the game, and Ian Kennedy has pitched each of the last two, so he wasn't an option today. So it was Mark Melancon was the guy, and good on him for showing up in this spot and converting. I thought it was interesting when they had second and third, 2 outs, and CJ Cron comes up. The Diamondbacks made the choice to put Cron on first base, which is not something you see often because Cron is a right-handed hitter and Melancon is a right-handed pitcher. So
it
you
made me
don't
so
see
nervous.
Those.
It felt like such an overthinking, like it was a head-ass move.
Right.
Like this is too much, and it ended up working out for him.
It ended up working out, absolutely. And you can understand why the Diamondbacks did that, right? I mean, CJ Cron has been a thorn in their side for a few weeks now, in some of these series with the Rockies. So things ended well in this one. Unfortunately, Ian Kennedy maybe fell out of the good graces of Diamondbacks fans' hearts yesterday, taking the loss in that one with the late home run. I still think he's pitched really well lately, though, and is probably still deserving of that opportunity.
Well, if you're looking for another reason to love Ian Kennedy, you're looking for something to rebound what happened on Saturday night from. Just check out the story about him essentially giving away all of his home goods in a donation where he was moving cross country here to Arizona.
He's moved a lot. That guy he's packed his bags a lot.
And it's kind of funny because it sounds a little bit like his friends and neighbors were almost like vulturing his stuff before he even made this decision. He was getting a lot of questions about if they were going to move everything and if they were going to take that lovely dinette set that they have in the kitchen area and things like that. So they made the decision just to have an auction at their home and donate the proceeds to charity. And it's just a wonderful thing that they did. And Ian Kennedy just continues to be a great dude. And despite having a bad night on Saturday night, I do like the idea of Torey Lovullo, though, being a little bit more bendable on this, ninth inning situation. Like, you don't have to completely turn away from Mark Melancon, but at the same time, maybe just managing games in a different way where that Melancon isn't just your go-to guy and every one of these ninth inning situations, no matter if it's tied or if it's whatever. Like, I get it, Melancon's the closer, right? But situationally you have two closers when it comes to Ian Kennedy and Melancon, so there's options there. And I would like to see maybe this kind of combo being used going forward, maybe a little bit of Ian Kennedy in the ninth, even for saves. What's wild is Mark Melancon is tied for ninth in the National League for saves. So as much as we want to pull our hair out, he's not doing terribly as far as being a closer. It's just that the losses really make it hard for you to think that you can rely on this guy in the ninth inning. But it was good to see him come back, and I agree with Brett Johnson 100%. I want a lockdown closer for once, please. I would love what some of these other teams have in that dominating arm that can come in late in the game where you just feel this sense of confidence that the game is over now. You have a 2-run lead. It's 1 inning. You should feel confident that, your best reliever is coming into the game to shut the game down. You shouldn't need to go take antacids like I did. And it was a preventative antacid. My stomach wasn't upset yet. I just wanted to get ahead of it in case my stomach was going to be upset for Mark Melancon's outing.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting. Yesterday, Brent Strom spoke with the media. We did a longer press session with him, and he talked about Mark Melancon and the fact that the team has made this decision to move him out of the closer role. I'm sure that some of our audience members may not respond super well to this, but Brent Strom made it very clear that he believes in Mark Melancon. He really views this season as being, I don't want to say a fluke, but like something along those lines. He really thinks that the way that Melancon has pitched this season, looking at a lot of the different numbers that they look at internally to evaluate pitchers, Brent Strom is of the belief that Mark Melancon is having a pretty darn good season for the Diamondbacks. And the fact that he's in these bigger spots pitching consistently just kind of exacerbates some of these moments that he's had that haven't gone so well. And he talked about how there have been a lot of situations this year where if the ground ball is hit 2 feet to the left or 2 feet to the right, there's a different outcome in some of these games. So do with this what you will. I know a lot of people aren't happy to hear about Mark, still being viewed so favorably, but Brenstrom was pretty clear. I mean, he thought the stuff looked good, and he seemed to think that Mark was more than capable of holding down a role late in some of these games, and we'll have to see how the Diamondbacks proceed from here.
Our comments are bringing up that Mark Melancon really does lack showmanship when it comes to his entrance when he comes out, right?
Yeah, he has thunder. I mean, he has the song, right?
Yeah. Well, closer needs an entrance like Diaz on the Mets, right? I don't know if you've seen his entrance, Jesse, but it's one of the most incredible things in all of baseball, right? And the thing that's incredible about it is like it was just kind of the crowd embracing his thing, his song, his entrance music and all of that. But it's amazing, right? And he's one of the best closers in the game, so I'm sure that adds to the excitement when we talk about that feeling of elation that people have that someone of his dominance is coming out. It's easy to get excited and sing a song and clap along and do all the things that people do. I don't know if Mark Melancon's earned that yet, but maybe he gets that, that solid entrance going. I'm not, his entrance doesn't excite me right now. It doesn't. I don't know if there's a correlation between performance and whatnot, but the Clutch Canuck also brought up in the comments, statistically, Melancon is a fine closer when they're up 1 run or more, which is what a closer should be used for, right, Jesse? 50-2 for wins versus blown saves. Ties are a different story, though, and that's the key here is that I think that they have been too firm on the idea that Mark Melancon is their 9th inning guy, regardless of the situation. And I've even thought about it just from, not from a position of Mark Melancon being, not good in other situations that aren't close situations. We've talked about that's just a mentality thing. They say older closers tend to have an issue with that. Whatever. That is what it is, right? But still, if you are in a tie game, don't you want to use your closer until maybe I get it. Like maybe if you go into extra innings, like it doesn't matter because if you get a walk off in the bottom of the inning, you're not going to need it. But like, just don't bring your closer in unless it's not a close situation. It's a save situation, right? Like if it's a save scenario, bring them in. If not, don't. That seems like a pretty easy rule to follow. And I know that might keep Melancon out for too long. That's probably the main issue. There might be too many games between saves for that. But I mean, then bring them in like games you're down by 8 runs. I don't know, but don't stop bringing them in these situations.
I've heard.
Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say I've heard that from a few different people. Like the argument, just start using Melancon in save situations and not in tie games, because you guys are right. The numbers are very, very clear. There's a enormous difference between his numbers in save situations versus tie games. The problem is sort of what you were just saying, though, Derek. I mean, Melancon has 14 saves this year. I don't have the number in front of me, but he probably has like 17 save opportunities, 18 save opportunities, something like that. So are you seriously going to say that Mark Melancon should have only appeared 18 times all season? Right. Like we've played more than 100 games. You cannot roster a player who only appears 18 times in over 100 games. It's not possible. And it wouldn't make any sense at all to do what you're talking about with like, just put him in situations where you're up 8 runs. Like he only pitches in save situations.
Down.
Or like down 8 runs. Sure. Whatever.
Get innings.
Sure. Up 8 runs, down 8 runs.
Doesn't matter.
Either way, right? It's just weird to put him in like a role where he's either in a spot where the game is on the line or he's like pitching mop-up innings. Like you can't really do that either. So I hear what you guys are saying, but it's just not a viable thing that they can do.
I don't care. It's not viable or not. Stop putting them in tie games where they're down by 1. Also, speaking of doing media stuff, you guys have a very exciting thing for you guys that we were working on. I don't know if you saw our little tease on social media, but we had some interviews today and we're putting together a little video piece that we hope you guys enjoyed very much. We're gonna keep it secretive. We're gonna keep it under wraps.
We sort of have to.
It's gonna be coming really soon. I will say this though: keep a lookout for our brand new video series that we're gonna call the Diamond Mine. We talked about it last year a bit. We're bringing the Diamond Mine back. It's just our opportunity to take a look at some events that have happened in games, plays, outstanding games, outstanding performances, things like that, for us to kind of break down and analyze film of. So make sure to check out that on the PHNX Sports YouTube channel. If you haven't already subscribe to us, sign up for notifications. That way you don't miss whenever we go live, whenever we're doing this thing. Make sure to like us right now if you're watching this video on YouTube, and also sign up for notifications and all that stuff. Go to your favorite audio podcasting app, subscribe to us there, download us all the time. Even if you're watching us here, whatever. It may be for numbers, it may not be for numbers. It doesn't really matter. Just subscribe to us, download us all the time. We need you to be here with us, both on the audio side and YouTube side. We'd love you for it. Leave us a 5-star review. We appreciate you guys, as always, for doing that. And also sign up for a membership over at gophnx.com if you don't have one of those. Jesse has some incredible pieces, including a new article on the Diamondbacks moves at the trade deadline, or lack of moves at the trade deadline. So get your membership. Make sure you keep up with us there as well. If you get an annual membership, you'll get a free t-shirt over at the PHNXLocker.com. If you get a month-to-month membership, we'll hook you up with your first month for just 50 cents. Either way, you get members-only access to our Discord, as well as members-only discounts over at the PHNXLocker.com. Just we talked about starting pitching was good for this series. A lot of friction, Jesse. There was a lot of friction. I think it's getting late in the season, and teams, especially teams like the Diamondbacks and the Rockies, they're not in it. They don't have a lot to look forward to. I think the heat and everything is getting everybody's a little mad. Madison Bumgarner had an opportunity to pitch in a game, Jesse, on Friday. It was on Friday, and an old friend was standing over there at third base, and Dan Bellino showed his face around. And Madison Bumgarner wasn't having any of it. He spent the entire game actively avoiding Dan Bellino and having his hand checks done by the home plate umpire. Jesse, what were your thoughts on seeing this altercation between these two adult men?
Oh man, I mean, there really wasn't an altercation.
There was an altercation. The altercations were avoided altogether.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, Mad Bum. So it would have been the third base coach's responsibility to do the hand check in between innings. And the first time Mad Bum, takes one step toward the dugout like he normally would, and he realizes that Dan Bellino would be the guy doing the hand check, and he took a hard left turn very, very quickly and made his way toward the home plate umpire, and he did it several times throughout the game. I don't believe Dan Bellino ever did the hand check.
No, he never got to caress his hand tenderly. Never.
No, he did not. And Mad Bum made it clear after the game in his post-game interview that he just said, Dan Bellino doesn't get to do that again. He said, I don't wish anything ill towards him. I don't have any ill will towards him as a person, but after what happened last time, he doesn't get another chance to do that. And I guess good on the umpiring crew for being okay with that, right? For the home plate umpire just sort of going along with it.
I was going to ask you, is that something? I know it's not normal. It's definitely not.
No,
normal.
It's not.
None of this entire situation is fucking normal at all. But is it allowable for the pitcher to make the decision that he's going to circumvent the third base umpire and go to the home? Is that part of the rule?
Yeah. That's a good question. I assume so, because that's what happened here. I guess maybe Madison Bumgarner has some seniority as well. I mean, maybe they're sort of willing to do it for a guy who's been around for so long. But
sure,
yeah,
well,
I don't.
It's a very weird altercation, right? It's something that you want to prevent anything from happening again. He might say he doesn't wish any ill will towards him, but you saw what he was like. He was pointing and yelling at him while he was going over. I'm not going to you. No, I don't know what he was saying because I couldn't make it out. But he definitely wasn't sending his best wishes and stuff over to Dan Bellino over there at third base. He was basically saying, no, absolutely not with you. I'm never doing this again with you. Ryan said in the chat, he had his chance and he blew it. And I think that's it. Really, yeah. You took a situation. Not only did he take a situation and escalate it unnecessarily, which resulted in Mad Bum being thrown out of the game, he admitted fault afterwards, and he admitted kind of why he did it. And he did it for the exact wrong kind of reasons. He did it to stand up for a younger umpire that that wasn't his fight. That's between that umpire and Mad Bum, and Mad Bum's feelings on his strike zone and what's going on at home plate. He has no business taking out like these residual feelings of anger about the way that Mad Bum is treating another individual on him by doing the job that he, like doing what he did. You know what I mean? So like, I don't know. I don't think Mad Bum's wrong in this, but I also think that Mad Bum is just hilarious in everything he does unintentionally. He is by no means trying to go out there and get attention and put on a show and have this become a funny thing we're talking about right now on this podcast.
No.
But he's just he's just so himself, and I love that about him. Like, if there's one thing Mad Bum is, you can't accuse him of, is not getting shit off his chest. Like, he doesn't hold anything back. If he has something to say to you, he's gonna try to find you and say it to you. And in this case, I think he was trying to send a message loud and clear to Bellino about that. You know, who knows? There's a good chance that this might happen again. So I can't wait to see if there's another Dan Bellino Mad Bum series before the end of the season. Michael says Mad Bum goes to Ruth Chris and camo. He's absolutely unintentionally hilarious. Oh my God. I would laugh so hard. Does he wear like hunting camo, or is it a suit? Is it like a slacks and a jacket that are like, Woodlands camouflage? I need to know this, but anyway. But they weren't the only people having a lack of patience. Apparently Merrill Kelly and Charlie Blackmon got into it a little bit on the diamond yesterday.
They did.
Merrill Kelly unintentionally hit Charlie Blackmon with a pitch to load the bases, which, as he said, he absolutely was not trying to do. We actually have a clip of Merrill talking to us after the game about that.
Probably won't speak on it too much. I just felt the way he came through the base was a little aggressive. I think everybody can probably look at the video and kind of make up their own minds on what went down. I was just saying that I didn't really appreciate it. But
do you think it had anything to do with you really hit him with a fastball previous to that?
Could have been. Out of the corner of my eye after I hit him, I was obviously mad. I hit him. It was a 2-strike pitch to load the bases, so obviously I wasn't trying to hit him there. Out of the corner of my eye, I kind of saw him flip his bat. So, I mean, obviously when you get hit in the leg, I'm sure it doesn't feel good. But I obviously was not my intention to try to hit him there. I was trying to strike him out instead. So I could have stemmed from that, but it is what it is.
There's a lot of unintentionally hilarious things going on. It's not just Mad Bum. I thought it was hilarious that Nick Picoro asked, do you think maybe it's because you hit him with a pitch the last time? And he's like, maybe. Like, it's absolutely that reason. It's absolutely that reason. But things are getting heated. Merrill Kelly isn't a guy that we typically see being like emotional like this, but I think that someone asked him in that huddle, like, have you had a better stretch than this in your career? And he said he'd have to go look back at the numbers, but never in the major leagues has he had as good of a stretch as he's currently on. So, I mean, you do, I think, maybe start to feel a little bit of like, I don't know. I mean, like, you've earned some respect. I think Merrill Kelly has. And in that situation, I completely agree with him. You have to know when guys are trying to hit you versus when something just happened, and you got to read the situation. I know you might be upset because you got hit, but Kelly was dealing, and by no means was he trying to, like, put you on base intentionally by hitting you. I mean, they don't need to do that anymore. This isn't, we have the unintentional walk or the intentional walk where we don't even have to throw a pitch anymore, right? So it's like, if they're trying to put you on base, they'll just put you on base. But there was no retaliation. There was nothing before that. I don't really understand that situation really escalating like it did, other than Charlie Blackmon's just kind of like this wild beast from the forest that comes out and screams like a bear sometimes at people.
Well, I mean, with that beard, it is sort of understandable why people would perceive him that way. But yeah, I mean, the specific.
Don't make me get out that picture of Charlie Blackmon without a beard again, because I will.
The specific play that Merrill is talking about there was like a slow roller up the first base line. I believe Christian Walker fielded it, and then Merrill Kelly had to jot over to first to cover the bag, and Merrill and Charlie Blackmon got to the bag at pretty much the exact same moment. Merrill just barely beat him to get the out. And so he's talking about the way that Charlie Blackmon like ran up the first base line and got pretty close to sort of stepping all over Merrill Kelly when he got over there, which of course it's a pretty significant injury hazard when those sorts of things happen. We've seen situations like that turn ugly in the past. So understandable that Merrill wouldn't be happy about that. If you look at the video, I do see where he's coming from. It did seem like Charlie Blackmon was going a little bit harder than you would expect him to there.
It's kind of like running with that wild abandonment where you're just going to crash into someone because you're kind of running out of control, and you kind of maybe want to do that on purpose to put that pressure on them getting to the bag before you, right? Like maybe that's a bit intentional on the way he was running, and maybe it was also because Merrill Kelly just hit him with a pitch and he kind of wanted to really run Merrill Kelly over, you know. I agree with this on both ends. I just think it was it was weird how it escalated. Like, I don't know, it's one of those things where it didn't really seem to need to be that. Like, we see that play 1,000 times and it's never that, right? Like, it's weird to have him be like, he's running up the line aggressively. Well, I mean, yeah, I guess. I don't know. Baseball's aggressive sometimes. I don't know. But anyway, I think people are just low on patience, Jesse. I think that's it. I really think that's what it comes down to. And I think it doesn't take much when you're low on patience for things to push you over the edge. But I'm just curious. I was telling you a story that this weekend, or I've never really seen you angry. I've never really seen Jesse mad. And if I have, I wasn't able to recognize it. I didn't identify it as Jesse being mad. So, Jesse, what pushes you over the edge? What are things that make you lose control, but then you have a hard time justifying getting very mad about it? I mean, I'll kick it off. Traffic.
Sure.
I think that's something that we all have a weakness with, right? Traffic by far is where you will see that guy a lot. You'll see Angry Derek a lot. I'm just staring out my window like that, just looking for trouble the whole time. You know what I mean? But no, traffic is just one of those times where, like, the slightest, I'm trying to be more patient, especially driving around with my daughter, but it's hard. It's hard, Jesse. But what do you got?
Yeah, so mine are really random. These are more like pet peeves than anything else. But believe it or not,
I want to know what I need to avoid doing or what I need to actively do to annoy you.
For me, it really is like these small little things. Like, these are the kinds of things that really get me going. All right, so I've got two of them here. So the first one is, you know, those sinks where, like, the faucet is like more like a shower head, and the water pressure is excessive, and you you're already laughing. I haven't even said what it is yet, Derek.
You weren't lying about it being random. You're like,
all right.
First beef is with sinks. Let me tell you about
all right. Well, let me tell you about them. I haven't finished. So there are sinks where, like, the faucet is like a shower head, and yes, Elizabeth, sinks. I am being serious here. All right. So the faucet is like a shower head, and the water pressure is like off the charts, right? And so you go in to wash your hands, and you just wind up with water just like splattered all over you, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm like,
it's all over the counter and everything. Like,
yeah.
It's a bathroom. It's like a mirror gets it on it and stuff. Yeah.
No,
I'm with you on that. And
it gets everywhere.
You turned on the little knobs down below the cabinet too high, and those just need to be turned down. And that's an easily fixable problem, but not enough people do it, right?
Not enough people do it. Exactly. All right. The other one is I posted this on Twitter the other day, so some people might know about this one. I think that it is a cardinal sin to retweet something but not like the tweet. You can like the tweet without retweeting it. You cannot retweet it without liking it. It's that simple. So there you go.
These are stern rules, sir. These are stern rules.
Yep.
I have a broader problem, I guess you would say. Like, I have the core root of what most of my pet peeves are. And it actually was identified to me by my friend Adam's mom, Sharon Hess, who's a medium of all things, right? So she's a medium, but then she just has this real basic kind of knowledge of human nature. And she told me, like, basically that I don't like when people are inconsiderate towards me because I try so hard to show consideration towards other people. So it's like I try to be nice to other people. I try to be considerate to other people. But then when they don't reciprocate that consideration, I just lose my shit. Like it doesn't matter the scenario. It could be like you not holding an elevator door open for me when I walk up to it. Like those people just see the doors close and me kind of be like this, and that's what they see. What they don't see is me pounding on the doors and being like, "You son of a bitch!" Right? Like that's the part that they miss. But it's things like that where I would never in a million years like close a door or let a door close on somebody trying to make an elevator. But people are going to do that to you, right? Some people, that's their favorite thing. Some people, to them, they love doing that. They like the look on our faces when we don't make the elevator brings them joy and happiness. And these are terrible people, Jesse. And I'm just saying that out loud now because it's the truth. But anyway, that was great. Also, things that pushed me over the edge. Spoilers. Don't ruin my movies and TV shows for me. I'll block you on social media. It's that bad.
Well, Derek, the good news is you don't have to worry about me spoiling any TV shows for you.
You've seen
no
nothing,
worries there.
We know that. We know that. We're going to talk about that. But first, I got to let everybody know that I am drinking a Four Peaks Hop Knot IPA, which is one of my two favorite Four Peaks beers. And you can get these bad boys anywhere that you get your beers, either at your local grocery store, your liquor store, wherever you get your beers. Also, check out their 8th Street Pub, which is our home away from home, where we will be broadcasting. I think it's the final Wednesday of every month. So make sure to join us at Four Peaks. They have wonderful food. They have all of their beers on tap, even some beers you can't even get at the grocery store. So make sure to pick up Four Peaks if you can't be there. But if you can be there, join us in person. Have yourself some amazing brews, have yourself some amazing food. We could talk about the chicken tenders all day, but it doesn't do it any justice. Just come and see how many people from our show are eating the chicken tenders, and you'll understand that we don't lie about how much we love them.
We do not.
But also, not only that, we are giving away for our friends at Four Peaks a little toast of the month deal, which we've been talking about on this show. Make sure to go phnx.com, enter to win the toast of the month sweepstakes. You'll win yourself a $50 Four Peaks gift card, a PHNX shirt of your choice, and a PHNX annual membership. So click on the link in the show notes below or go to phnx.com. Must be 21 or older to enjoy, and enjoy responsibly. And speaking of enjoying responsibly, you can also enjoy our friends at OG's Brands responsibly. That's for 21 and over as well to purchase. Enjoy them wherever you need to enjoy OG's Brands, whether you're celebrating a victory or you're getting over a loss. It doesn't matter. OG's is here for you. They have a wonderful variety of flavors. They are flavoring life. And we are also giving away some stuff from our friends at OG's. So go over to gophnx.com and sign up for all this stuff. Do it all at once. We have free stuff for you in the Flavoring Life sweepstakes. One winner will receive 3 bags of OG's brand gummies, including orange creamsicle and tropical flavors, this OG's hat, a PHNX shirt of your choice, and a PHNX annual membership. Again, I'm not bragging.
No,
I'm not bragging about this, but I still don't remember this picture being taken. So make sure to also check out our friends at OG's during their during their little pool parties that they're having out at the Maya Day Club. I don't know if they have any more on their schedule. I think they had 3 total, so I think they still have 1 left, Jesse, for me to get you to. And I don't know. My schedule is pretty clear for the month of August, so we might have to check out if they have another one of those coming up at the end of the month. If you want to check out OG's, go to OG's online at ogsbrands.com or on Instagram at OG's Brands. That's OGEEZ Brands. And you can also find their products at your local dispensary. Again, must be 21 years or older to purchase. Jesse, we still have some good things happening down on old Josh Barfield's farm down there for the Diamondbacks. De Los Santos was named the Diamondbacks minor league player of the month. He currently plays for the Hillsboro Hops as an infielder. Thoughts on the month that Davison De Los Santos has been having?
Yeah, he's been outstanding. He was just recently promoted from Visalia up to Hillsboro. So far in Hillsboro, some pretty decent numbers here, Derek. He is hitting a whopping 373 with a 610 slugging percentage. He has 4 bombs in 14 games. Really, really good stuff from De Los Santos down in high A. So he has a bright future for the Diamondbacks, Derek. The D-backs don't have a whole lot of corner infield prospects that are that compelling at this point, unfortunately. And he's really separated himself as being one of the few that is really interesting in this organization. And I don't know if when the Diamondbacks signed him from the Dominican Republic a couple years ago, if he was necessarily viewed in this light as being a guy who really could contribute at the big league level. And obviously, we're still not to the point yet where we know what he'll be like at the big league level. But for the moment, I mean, it's hard to ask for anything more than what he's done so far. I mean, between Visalia and Hillsborough, he's looking at 16 homers and 76 RBIs in 92 games and an OPS north of 900. So a name to watch for sure. I know we talk a lot about the guys in AA and AAA, but you do not want to forget about this guy too.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And Ryan Simmons in the chat said 5 home runs. He homered today. So he's keeping it going, Jesse.
There you
keeping
go.
It going.
There you go.
Diamondbacks making some moves a little bit in our all-city division, Jesse. Today was a good day for them, obviously. They move a little bit further away from those Rockies. Still have a tied record with them now with the 10-10. I think overall we have distance ourselves a little bit from them. I like that. And I don't think they're going to catch the White Sox, who has a plus 500 winning percentage right now. But Diamondbacks are still like, you have to be pretty excited about them being close to 10 games below 500. And it's weird to say because that's not something that really any fan should be excited about. But oddly enough, it's like, they've hovered around, they dropped. They had a pretty bad stretch there, I think around like June and July, right? That really put them significantly below 500, but they're in a position now where they've kind of played 500, baseball here for a little bit, and they've done a good job at improving their record. I mean, really right now it's just the small victories and trying to get these guys to advance, learn from their mistakes. We saw a lot of mistakes in the series. Obviously they didn't play perfect baseball, but like Seth Beer's tag up, getting caught at home plate, a little running error that ended up being a very important run in the loss on Saturday.
Yeah, we probably should touch on that quickly, even though it wasn't a particularly fun part of the series. But that play might have made the difference. It's hard. I mean, Seth Beer, not the quickest guy out there. So I don't know if you have any guarantees that even if he runs the bases properly there, that he does beat Charlie Blackmon's throw to the plate. But yeah, he was probably like 15 feet off the bag in a situation where he should have just been ready and waiting in that spot. Obviously, if it drops in and lands, he should be able to score pretty easily no matter what. So you got to be ready to tag from third base in that spot. And unfortunately, Seth Beer just wasn't. And, he sort of got himself tripped up as well. He is not the quickest guy out there, right? I mean, Seth Beer, that's never going to be.
You've said that twice now.
Yeah. I have said it twice, and unfortunately, it is. We've seen it firsthand at this point enough times to know that is the case. So, an unfortunate
it's just about
mistake
it's about situational awareness, and I think that's what Torey touched on after the game was like, really, it's about knowing that you should have been able to keep an eye on that and stay close to the bag. I think Torey said he took 15 to 20 unnecessary steps, and then that just slows you down. It gets you, you don't have a good jump on it. There was just lots of things wrong. But again, I think that's what this system is about. And that's why we're so excited to see the young guys get called up. That's why we keep tweeting every time someone like Stone Garrett, who continues to be a monster offensively for the Reno Aces, homers. It's like, we want to call these guys up. Let's like this season. It's not a bad season. It's not like a throwaway season or anything like that. But realistically, I can't believe that the team is still focusing on perhaps catching a playoff spot or something, right? I mean, maybe that's the case. Maybe we've given up on them way more than they've given up. There's still quite a few games to go. And to be honest, they're not that far out of potentially being in the playoff situation. But Oh, Jesse made the face. They are a long way out.
They're
They're really
11 and a half games out. They're 11 and a half games out with a number of teams in front of them. But yeah, I mean, you're right. It's not impossible. And
I wonder that, like, because they're never going to answer that question truthfully, I don't think. And you can't expect them really to be like, yeah, I don't really care about the season at this point. Like, they're not like 30 games below 500 or anything like that. They're still, they could catch a run and all of a sudden have some, really things fall their way, win some series in a row, like we saw them do out of the All-Star break. You never know what's going to happen. Their schedule is dreadful. So looking ahead is an absolute nightmare still for this team outside of this stretch that they're on right now, including this upcoming series now with the Pirates at home, as well as the series against the Rockies in Colorado. We've talked about is probably their last bit of reprieve before we get on to a very difficult stretch of the season.
Yeah, it is. I know we've got a 4-game series coming up here with Pittsburgh. That's going to be a big opportunity for the D-backs to hopefully find a way to continue this positive stretch that they're in right now. Here's our upcoming schedule. So yeah, you could see a 4-game set here at home with the Pirates. That's going to finish out this homestand, and then they're out in Colorado for next weekend. But yeah, you're right, Derek. After these couple series, it's pretty much playoff teams from then on. I mean, there's very little reprieve, as you said, through the rest of the way.
I talked to a friend of mine who's a San Francisco Giants fan, and if it makes anybody feel any better, he is as hopeless about his team as we are about the Diamondbacks. So at least we're going in different directions right now. They're going down.
The Diamondbacks are. So I know we talk a lot about them finishing ahead of the Rockies, right? And at this point, they're 2 games ahead of the Rockies in the standings. Diamondbacks are 4.5 behind the San Francisco Giants. And I don't think it's likely necessarily, but I think it's entirely possible that the Diamondbacks could be in the mix to move up in the division and maybe finish in 3rd place. I don't think that's out of the question for them. And maybe that could be like, maybe the playoffs are a little bit out of reach, but maybe that could be what they shoot for down the stretch.
That's you have to admit that even though that's kind of a empty victory, it's still a victory. It's still a win at the end of the day, considering that this team lost 112 games last season. How many games? 109.
110. Yeah.
God, I just don't want to admit it, Jesse. I just refuse to admit that they went 52 and 110. I just don't want to.
But you overshot it. You started with
112. It feels like they lost 200 games last season. It feels like they lost 1,000,000 games last season. This season has felt so much different. That's why this series was so uplifting. If looking at the numbers, the Rockies are a very, competitive team. They've actually had the Diamondbacks number, when it comes to wins and losses this season, but the Diamondbacks had a really good series when you take a look at those numbers.
Here they are. Yeah. So the Diamondbacks starting pitching was pretty solid in this series. Maybe Mad Bum wasn't ideal on Friday, but Zach Davies, the 5 scoreless today, and then Merrill doing what he did yesterday. So a 3.06 ERA for the D-backs starters in this series compared to 3.32 for the Rockies.
It feels like starting pitching was better than this in this series, doesn't it?
Yeah. I mean, you mean like on both sides or on the Diamondback side?
It's on both sides, but especially on the D-back side, it feels like it was better than a 3.06 ERA.
Yeah, I mean, Mad Bum was 5 2/3, 4 earned runs, I think. So that's really the main reason that number is a little bit higher. The big difference, though, is the bullpen. The Rockies bullpen, 6 innings, 7 runs in the series. So that's a 10.50 ERA. D-backs ERA 4.82, still not great. As far as runners in scoring position, the D-backs have a bit of an edge there. I do think it's interesting. The Rockies had 34 opportunities with runners in scoring position, compared to the Diamondbacks who had 15. So even though those batting averages are pretty similar, the Rockies somehow had way more opportunities, and yet the Diamondbacks come away with the series in the end.
And a big contributor to this series and the reason why they won was the one and only Josh Rojas. Our guy, Josh Rojas, is our DraftKings king of the series, and deservedly so. Rojas is like, his intangibles can't even be put, I think, at times on this board. He just has very timely hits at times. He does things to push the action. He just continues to be a guy that again, even if the numbers don't back it up, is such a huge contributor to wins and to sparking the offense.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Rojas is just so steady at this point, right? I mean, it's sort of like,
we've
like
seen
we
him
might
have
not.
defensive issues, right? I mean, he's still not
Yeah.
like 100% there defensively, but for sure, he's been very steady at the dish for sure.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like he didn't even necessarily hit these big, massive home runs or extra base hits or anything in this series. And yet he comes away 4 for 12. Like that's just sort of who Josh Rojas is at this point, right? It feels like he just kind of flies under the radar with those kind of performances. I do want to give a shout out to a couple of other guys who probably didn't deserve the king of the series, but I think if we were doing like post game shows, maybe they would have deserved a king of the game. I think we need to mention Geraldo Perdomo and what he did on Friday and that game.
Yes, I believe you coined it. The Geraldo Perdomo game is what you called it there.
I think it was pretty. I mean, I have never seen, like, out of all the Diamondbacks games I've watched this season, I've never seen one player just sort of like dominate on both sides of the ball for about 20 minutes. It was the 2-run single. It was stealing second, although that wound up not mattering when it was all said and done. But it was a giant hit with second and third, 2 outs. It's late in the game. He gets it done, and then in the 9th inning, with Ian Kennedy on the mound going for the save, he makes an unreal diving play on a grounder up the middle. One of the best defensive plays I've seen him make this season, and it was like, wow, like Geraldo Perdomo. I mean, he's a young guy. People forget how young he is. He is less than a year older than Corbin Carroll is. I mean, he is that young. I think people forget about that a lot, but it was great to see him just kind of put it all together, even if it was only for a couple of innings, and it was just a little bit of a flash of what he could be in the future. But I thought it was really, really big for him.
And him playing practically every day at shortstop wasn't ideal for this team, but again, it was an opportunity that they have a able-bodied young shortstop ready to play, ready to learn, make mistakes, learn from those mistakes. And I think we've really seen his maturation throughout the season. We've seen him become a much better player defensively. At the dish, he's had some incredibly timely hits. You talked about it before, but his numbers with runners in scoring position are like the anti-Christian Walker, right? He's like the opposite. He gets more in the zone when guys are on base versus, some of these guys that really struggle with runners on.
Yeah, I haven't done the comparison. He might be their best hitter with runners in scoring position, like just that's looking wild. At slash line. I think that's probably the case, which unfortunately also means that without runners at scoring position, he has really, really struggled. There hasn't been a whole lot of offense there. But
it's probably like more of what they want out of him because of his speed and everything. They probably want him more as a base runner than somebody that knocks and runs, but still, like, hey, you can't, in some cases, you can't really, you got to lean into it. You can't try to change a person. I've said that about you so many times. I can't change you, but you gotta.
No matter how much you may want to,
no matter how much I want
you just can't.
I can't swim upstream when it comes to you, right? But I was your other person that you wanted to give a shout out to, Sergio Alcantara.
It was Sergio Alcantara.
I was going to give a tip of the cap myself. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, there you go. Yeah, I just thought he
played great today. He played absolutely outstanding.
He really did. Yeah, I just thought it was an all-around game for him. He was 1 for 1 with 2 walks in this game. He had a big sacrifice fly as well, so he was really productive in every plate appearance. He played well at shortstop all night, or all day, I guess I should say. No complaints there. So he's looked like pretty good since the Diamondbacks brought him back. I know a lot of people are kind of wondering, why did they bring back Sergio Alcantara? He was with the team earlier. He spent some time in San Diego where he didn't really hit at all, and then he came back over here. And he's been pretty productive for them. He's been a valuable piece when I think a lot of people just saw that move as being another, just kind of another filler, right? Just trying to plug in a guy just to have some depth at the position without necessarily getting much production. But I think he's been good for them.
I think not only that, but it's about him being a part of the system previously, knowing what you already had in him, right? I mean, you have to give other young players an opportunity, but you do also have to field a team, and you have to be able to have some depth at some of these positions. And they're getting really limited on that at this point. Again, it's kind of like the Perdomo thing where that wasn't their intention. Their intention was to have him kind of, share time with Nick Ahmed and have him learn and kind of sit under the learning tree a bit from Ahmed, and that just didn't happen. However, it's the best, making the best of the situation. I think Perdomo's done an excellent job. It's kind of like Rojas at third, right? Rojas at third isn't ideal. It's not the best. We definitely wish we had like an actual third baseman, but Rojas is an actual third baseman. You know what I mean? Like we said at times, we were like, what are they going to do? Who are they going to play? Like, who are they going to come in to, back up Rojas or whatever, or, actually start, and Rojas will back them up. But Rojas, again, he's made his mistakes. He hasn't been flawless defensively out there at third, but
no,
he does everything, in his power to make great plays. And, I think the biggest thing is he's really learning to be a third baseman and embracing it versus the utility role that he had kind of been given prior to this.
Yeah, he really has. I mean, he's just been a consistent presence for the team throughout the year on both sides of the ball. I agree with you that, I think he's been better than a lot of people expected at third base. We've still seen at times, the fact that he's not that experienced there. I think that's shown itself a few times. I don't know if he quite has the arm that you would look for in a third baseman necessarily.
I've seen him been beat a couple of times on guys running quickly up the line on like a slow dribbler that, most third basemen you would see make a really strong throw to first base and be able to make that.
Yeah, and Alex says in the comments, he makes a good point. Rojas just makes too many throwing errors. We have seen a few too many of those recently. So I'm sure he would tell you that's something he's working on right now. But for a guy where like that wasn't really his position and the Diamondbacks just sort of threw him there because they had a need, I think he's done a really good job.
Well, I don't disagree with that. And I give a tip of the cap to our DraftKings King of the Series. Of course, if you guys haven't done so, go download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. It's America's top-rated sportsbook app. Get down on, you got futures action. You can bet on a World Series. I was talking about how you can bet on the state that the World Series winner will come from. And I very much like New York for that option, but you can do whatever you want with that over at the DraftKings Sportsbook. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use our promo code of PHNX. Make your first deposit and you'll get a risk-free bet up to $1,000. That's promo code PHNX only at the DraftKings Sportsbook. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See show notes for details. We got some exciting things happening right now when it comes to MLB action that's going on today. So again, there's the Dodgers taking on the San Diego Padres. And if you are really interested, if you're really getting down, you're dying to go bet on that one, you can go get live in-game betting right now on the San Diego Padres versus the Dodgers. And with the Dodgers being up 2-0, I bet that's going to be really some tantalizing offers on the DraftKings Sportsbook for you to maybe see if those Padres come back. Padres haven't been as strong as we thought we would see them. I mean, I think we all thought we would just see them win every single game the rest of the season. That didn't happen, so that's good. If you're a Padres fan, I have no idea what you're doing here, but if you are a Padres fan, check out our friends over at Foco.com because they got you covered when it comes to those Padres City Connect jerseys. We had some talks about that. People do not like those, and I'm interested still to get a lot of opinions on that. I don't dislike the Padres City Connect jersey, Jesse. There's one thing that bothers me, and it's the fact that the sleeves are the opposite colors. I don't know why that you were talking about your pet peeves. That's a pet peeve of mine. I don't like the sleeves being different colors. All right. I don't care if the chest area is different from the sleeves. Sleeves need to be the same damn color. I don't know why. It just is. I've also never seen anything in San Diego that looks like those jerseys. Just throwing that out there. But that's fine. That's their City Connect jerseys. That's great. You can't say that about the Diamondbacks jerseys because if you said that, I'd say, oh, you haven't seen sand out here? What?
You haven't seen dirt? You ever seen a dust storm?
Oh, Elizabeth loves that the sleeves are different color. What are you doing to me? Why? These are Miami Padres.
Yeah,
there you go.
Miami Padres.
Of course, go over to check out our friends at Foco.com because they have you covered with all of our missing bobbleheads. I know you guys miss your bobbleheads. I know we got them for free. Times change. You're not getting them for free anymore. But what you're getting is a much higher quality bobblehead from Foco because they are incredible. Again, one that makes me cry is the David Peralta from the Serpientes ad because they have a bobblehead of him with the snake around his neck. I would buy that
they
one. Now,
they still have that one.
It's sold out. You can't buy it. No, you can't buy it because they sell out very quickly. You have to go get down on it now. Of course, they got you covered not only with bobbleheads, but with licensed gear for your favorite teams, for men, women, and kids. Everything from bobbleheads to swimsuits to shoes. So head on over to foco.com or click the link below in our description. For all non-presale items, use the promo code PHNX for 10% off. And we're just excited. I'm going way longer, Jesse. I don't care. Jacob wants to go home. You're here for
I mean, Jacob technically is already home.
Jacob, we're excited. We're celebrating. We're gonna go the whole hour. Before we go, speaking of which, look at that guy's so tired. He just wants this to end. Jesse,
he's already at home though. He doesn't care. We can keep Jacob here as long as we want because he's already at home. He doesn't have anywhere to go.
That's a good point. I shouldn't feel bad. So we're I don't know, hour and a half. I have nothing to do, so we're just gonna hang out, drink some more beers. Father Overlord Jacob, shout out to you for all of your hard work. We love you, buddy. And Jesse, we're gonna get you more cultured because I came up with another 4 movies, by the way. This time around, I actually chose what I would consider it's a hard description, but these are my favorite movies, Jesse, of all time.
Oh, wow.
And when I say favorite movies, I don't mean like, oh, these are like I have favorite movies that I can't really justify being a great movie by any stretch of the imagination. But I also have favorite movies that I know are fantastic quality movies. And I am going to make you watch these right now. So I got for you 4 movies to choose from. Actually, this has nothing to do with you. You don't get to decide on this at all. I have 4 movies for the viewers and the listeners to pick from. And they get to decide which movie Jesse watches. So the 4 movies I have chosen are The Godfather, Shawshank Redemption, Good Will Hunting, and Fight Club. Very, very different movies. A couple of them are going to just ruin young, innocent Jesse by watching them. And I don't care. Unapologetically making him watch one of these movies.
The Breakfast Club sort of
one, though. So we're going to throw this on Twitter and you guys get to pick which one he watches.
The Breakfast Club sort of already did that, so we're
oh
okay.
No, oh yeah, no, we're just getting that's just the tip of the iceberg, my friend. But remember, you said we're going to make you more cultured, and by that, these I would say on most movie critics' list, these would all be top 20 movies of all time.
Wow,
I would say universally, these are some pretty great movies, and. Charles Woodall Pike says, shamefully, the only one I've seen is Shawshank. We need to get you cultured as well, my friend. But
that's one more than me, Charles. So no shame from this side.
Forrest Gump originally made the list, and surprisingly, Jesse watched that, and that I find to be adorable, and I love that. But we'll throw this up on Twitter as well as right now. We got on Twitter we got our T-shirt, we got our This Is the Way shirt right now. So go to our Twitter account. I don't know if it's our pin tweet, but it will be our pin tweet. You just have to follow us and retweet that tweet, and we will give away that shirt next Sunday on this show to one very lucky winner. So make sure to do that. We appreciate you guys for the support and for participating in all this stuff. Make sure to pick Jesse's movie. If you want to follow us, you can follow the account at PHNX_DBacks. I am at Cap_Caveman with a K. Jesse is at Jesse N. Friedman, but all roads lead to at PHNX_sports on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Again, we thank you guys so much for spending your Sunday and celebrating the series win with us. We're excited. This is one of many Four Peaks beers that I'm about to smash in celebration of the D-backs victory. But again, we thank you guys so much on behalf of Jesse and myself. We always appreciate you guys being here. And remember, kids, baseball is fun, but it's so much more fun when you do a post-series show after a win.